All right, guys, welcome in. Didn't know if I was going to get onto the right scene, man. Every night it's just a pain in the butt. But it looks like it is up and going. So here we go, man. Mass bunker fuel ship operation off the coast of Southern California and the Bajas. Yesterday, none. Today, mega operation. We're looking at the bunker fuel. The most toxic emissions on the planet. Just 13 of these ships put off more emissions than every car on the planet combined. You can see these guys they're going in pairs. So crazy stuff going on out here in the West Coast, and we'll get into this the maps here a little bit deeper. We got some crazy Thursday news to get into. I mean, it's just insane, some of the news that comes out every night. I don't know how it gets weirder and weirder, but it does. Mass spraying operations over the United States and other places, but check this out. New Zealand has ordered nearly 1,300 square feet of human skin from the United States to treat the volcano victims. Holy crap. 1,300 square feet. That seems like a lot of skin. New Zealand has ordered, now they're saying New Zealand has ordered 1,292 square feet of human skin to treat the survivors of Monday's deadly volcanic eruption on White Island. The skin has been ordered through the U.S., while Australian skin and tissue banks will provide skin, gaffs, and other supplies. The 27 survivors had burns on at least 30% of their bodies. So just, man, bad stuff. So they're saying they anticipate they'll require an additional 1.2 million square centimeters of skin, or 1,292 square feet. That is just nuts, man. Pray for them people. You know, they are definitely suffering. Nothing like a bad burn. Then we got this coming out. Oakland reintroduces the idea to use cruise ships for the homeless. Hey, thanks there, Badger Mill. So, especially during the rainy season, you know, it's an offbeat idea to tackle the homeless crisis. Well, to get rid of the homeless crisis, get out all the corrupt politicians, first of all, and secure your border and give the jobs to the people there instead of bringing new people in and leaving all the other people on the street, man. It's pretty simple. But this is basically just FEMA barges out on the coast of California. We've seen it with the hurricanes. We've also seen them dump crates of bodies. I don't know if we've seen them, but we've had rumors of crates of bodies being dumped out to sea. You know, if you put a bunch of people on one of these cruise liners, or where's all the waste going? Are they just going to park it on the beach and just let all that waste just, you know, drift out in the ocean, end up on the beaches anyway? Everything is so messed up right now, man. We're definitely in the end times. I mean, news like that is just nuts. You'll just end up missing. Here's coming out of the Chicago Tribune. A site near Lake Huron is one of 2 finalists to store Canada's nuclear waste. Boy, that's a bright idea. How about we put nuclear waste near a freshwater lake? I mean, what could go wrong with that? Canada has narrowed 2 communities its list of potential hosts for the permanent national repository for the most radioactive waste, spent fuel from nuclear power generation, and one of those finalists is offshore at Lake Huron. People better protest this. Like, why don't they ship this off to space somewhere. You know, we've already seen where they've dumped this stuff on native reservations. They put it underground, and then you get, earthquakes and stuff, and it seeps into the water aquifers. And why are they using this stuff? So this could be a catastrophic event for all the water up there. Definitely something that should be protested in any way possible. You know, a couple of years ago, I don't know if I got it on this channel or the backup channel, but I actually followed a semi that was hauling nuclear spent fuel rods just up the highway. I mean, I looked up all the numbers. We did a bunch of research on it, and they were supposed to be having an escort. And I stopped at the gas station where they stopped, and I asked them, I was like, what do you got? Is that like nuclear waste you're hauling around out here with no kind of people, like guarding it? And then they rolled their window up and they said they can't talk, and they rolled their window up. But they were heading north through Nebraska. I don't know where they ended up. Now, this is one weird news story. I don't know if it's true or not, but in light of all the other weird news, we might as well throw this one in. Gone with the Wind. Man whose deadly farts can kill mosquitoes hired to create mosquito repellent made from his intentional gas. I mean, this is just so weird, but you almost can't throw this weird stuff out, man. The Odd Job Man says no one in his village has ever contracted malaria because his powers knock out insects over a 6-mile radius. If that's true, that makes the fallout zone larger than the atomic bomb that destroyed Hiroshima in 1945. So just weird stories, man. But I'll leave these links if you want to read into this. Like I said, I don't know if that's true or not. Who knows nowadays? You know, he says it don't smell no different. He takes a bath every day. But for some reason, whatever's coming out of the back of his body, it kills bugs in like a 6-mile radius. Pretty crazy. All right, so we just talked about Israel getting hammered with chemtrails yesterday for only the 5th time this year. So this article come out on the 9th. With rains returning to Israel, cloud seeding is being renewed. The amount of rain a cloud produces can be increased by a special compound. One of the water companies in Israel has started cloud seeding on Sunday in order to increase the amount of rain as part of the operation. The clouds are mapped, and those are with potential to increase rains and fly planes to them. They dispersed a silver iodide compound in additional to 32 ground seeding locations to assist in the operation. Well, they flooded the place out. Crazy, man. We talk about this stuff to, all of a sudden we get a news article saying the very same thing that we said by looking at the maps. Let me see if I can get this. This lady here just hacks me off. Here's a mainstream lady, newscaster lady. I'm going to make a really good montage here in a few days with all these fake news people. But they're talking about one of the guys today, the 2019 Weather Modification Committee put out a video today on weather modification down in Texas. If you go to my community tab, I had the full video link there, but I've got it edited down. I don't have it loaded for tonight, but I'll probably just upload that as a separate video sometime the next day or so. But listen to this lady.
Conspiracy theorists have long claimed the government is somehow controlling the weather despite a lack of evidence to back it up.
But meteorologists here in Texas may be coming close to controlling the weather, sort of. Channel 6.
Conspiracy
theorists have long claimed the government is somehow controlling the weather despite a lack of evidence to back it up.
Just keep laughing, you little sock puppet. We know the truth. Anyway, she'll be in the montage for sure. Let me get out of there. So the UAE, this is the wrong article. Here we go. Raw meat warning as scientists find almost half of the lamb mince sold in Australia's supermarkets contains a parasite that may cause brain damage. There's no break for the Australians right now. Hey, thanks there, T. Fisher. No breaks whatsoever. The New World Order is completely taking over Australia. It's coming to a town near you. We also have recalls. Listeria risk prompt a recall on dozens of smoked salmon products. This come out just today. Retailers in several states received cold smoked salmon that is now under recall because of the positive test for Listeria bacteria. Operations at the plant are suspended. Does it tell us where? Well, here's some of the names. Nova sliced smoked salmon, Daniel Balud slice, gold slice smoked, pastrami. Wow, that's a big list. Anyway, I'll have all these links pinned to the video comments after the video processes. Now, like I said today, we reported on the June 6th meeting. Well, today was their last meeting of the year. Very interesting stuff in it today. They've been talking about how they've been modifying the weather in Texas for 150 years in West Texas. Talking about the hail suppression. They even talked about that article from last night about the bacteria seeding the clouds from the Arctic. And they did get into a little story that happened back around 1974, I think. I know it ended in 1978, but farmers were forced to pick sides on whether they should cloud seed or not. And they got so bad there was bomb threats, people possibly shooting from planes, at the planes and stuff like that. So crazy stuff. We're going to get into all that. Here's another one, South Texas weather modification. They were there talking about some of the programs that they did. Like I said, I'm going to have I'm going to upload the whole video. Trends in the United States, large hail environments and observations. Understanding the trends in large hail producing environments is an important component to estimating hail risks. What's going on? They're using hail suppression, but yet the hail just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So what do you think, man? You think they're lying? Yes, they're lying. The storms are getting more powerful, more electrified. Not only do we have all the microwaves and the Bluetooth and the radio frequencies, we're being inundated by frequencies. And then, like I said, you add in these bunker fuel, man. This is loaded with metal particulates. Then you add in the chemtrails, loaded with particulates, metal, nanoparticles. That's why the health suppression, they're gonna have to get ahead of what's going on. I didn't get to look in this. This is some railway news I was going to look into. Didn't have time to look in that. And there's our elements that are in the jet fuel. And we're going to show this a lot, because if there's new people out there that don't know what's coming out of the back of these aircraft, is tons of amounts of aluminum. Even if the planes don't have sprayers, even if they're not dropping stuff out of the back of the C-130s with hoses and rockets and all kinds of stuff, just the jet fuel alone is toxic. We wonder why we're getting all the aluminum issues with the bees and trees and ground and hair. You know, all the blood tests have been done on tons of people, and it's all coming back positive for the aluminum, the barium, the strontiums. And like I said, this is the list in the JP8. Jet Fuel A didn't have any aluminum. Once they got to the JP5, then they start putting it in there. Look at the difference between the JP5 and the JP8. 22,144 parts per billion for the JP5. Well, then they move to the biodiesel. It jumps all the way up to 9,360. So crazy stuff right there, man. It's just this stuff is raining down on us. And I was going to look in here. I was doing the Texas Weather Modification Act of 1967. And here it is. Let me look at this. I haven't never looked at this. So let me look at this. Oh, it's still from the Texas Driver's License Bureau. Let's just read just a little bit of it. The first hint of the potential of human activity to alter the behavior of the clouds came just after the Civil War. Civil engineer Edward Powers made an observation that rainstorms often occurred where major battles between the Union and the Confederate troops were waged. The immense smoke, dust, and other particulate matter put into the air during the conflict seemed to invigorate clouds and rain more. Weather modification has been tried since 1891 in Texas. I told you, man, this has been going on since the late 1800s. Here's just another confirmation. The first attempt was given a $2,000 grant by the U.S. Congress to do a series of rain-making experiments near Midland, Texas. Severe droughts had driven the need for the weather modification since its beginning. Ground-based generators have been used in several parts of the states over the years. Then airplanes were tried, delivering dry ice, then flares, and generators producing silver iodide particles. This actually looks like a pretty good link of information on just the history of the weather modification just in Texas right here. I'm going to have to save that link. I'll put this link in with the show links. Now, like I said, I'll play a little clip of last year's Texas Licensing Bureau, and then I'll jump back in it here and see if I can even get it to work.
We've had a lot of cases where we were seeding storms that had no business being seeded. We were just kind of throwing darts, and we were seeing responses in some of those. So we are learning that maybe there's more opportunity with some of these. Maybe we don't even need to have a rain cloud. We could go where our cumulocongestus clouds that aren't really precipitating yet, and if it has inflow, maybe we could get something to work. Year one, we had the air tractor that the USDA provided, so dosaging was a lot better. We were getting about 40.
All right, so my name is Dr. Dan Martin. I'm a research engineer with USDA ARS, Agricultural Research Service in College Station, Texas. I've been doing aerial application technology research and extension for the last 25 years, 10 years at LSU and 15 years with USDA. So back in 1999, the USDA patented a new technology at that time for an aerial electrostatic spraying application system. So this system has been in place for the last 20-some years, working very well for production in agriculture. It was just 2 years ago that we looked at using this type of technology to enhance rainfall. And so this is the system that we use right here.
All right, so they've been using electrostatic rain-making technologies for at least 20 years. But yet they call us the conspiracy theorists. The news media, the mainstream news media, tries to make fun of us when all they do is make an ass out of themselves. We've seen that in that clip in the beginning. But yeah, so mega bunker fuel operation out here. Another form of seeding our skies, dumping tons of toxic materials up into the sky. I mean, this is just, it went from nothing yesterday to all these ships, so they must have been reloading. And now here they are. Let's see what layer I want to start out with here. So we have a little bit of spraying over Sonora. Arizona is getting hammered. Southern California is getting waxed. San Diego, you got a big fat liner right over the center of you, going right up the west coast, Long Beach. I mean, this goes out all the way over to the mountains. Tons of aerosols being deployed all through California. So not only are you getting chemtrailed, you're also getting bunker fueled. Fresno's even getting hammered all the way up. So they're definitely setting something up out here. So you got the low part of the pressure being bunker fueled, then the high pressure is getting hit. Let me check the jet stream winds. I want to see what they're doing. So let's bring up the Earth skull newel, and then we'll go back into that. I just want to see, you know, this is kind of stuff we need to look. We need to document where the low pressures are, what's the winds doing. Let me check the ocean just real quick. So we got some pretty good waves. All right, so let me get this back on. I want to look at the pressures, the sea level pressures. So right there, that's where the bunker fuel operations is, right in the high pressure. You also have a secondary high pressure. Now what I think we're going to see is in between these two high pressures, they're going to split off and make a low pressure. I mean, this is something we're going to have to watch. Let's look at the total precipitable water. So this is kind of like the mimic map. So you can see the rain, the moisture is just hitting the mountains right now. Let's look at the total cloud water. So right here, that's where we're seeing the clouds. The bunker fuel operations are right here. And then the cloud seeding is going on right all over Texas. So now we just got to kind of watch what this does over the next day or two and see what happens. Like, let's look at this is the precipitation forecast. Now I might be able to take this one up a day or two just to see. So it looks like right there where they're dumping the particulates right now. Look, California is going to be getting quite a bit of moisture, especially up in the mountains. Looks like we're looking at, you know, quarter inch. That's not a whole lot, but that's a quarter inch every 3 hours. So you'd have to go back, you know, all the way back to where it starts and then calculate all the moisture. So that's a half an inch every 3 hours. So, you know, they're going to be getting some pretty good rain for California. Yeah, I can't go up real far, so. And then let me go ahead and look at the jet stream. So the bunker fuel ships are down below the jet stream, but they're spraying the aerosols right in where the jet stream is. We got this weird trough way over here, right above Hawaii. And it looks like we have like a hurricane up here over the, you know, up in the North Sea. Let me just go ahead and check the way up here at the polar vortex winds. I want to check the temperature up here and see where that, look, the heating event's getting bigger. It won't be long and they're going to be pushing the cold air over towards the United States. We'll see if it trends that way. So it's really not moving hardly, even though they're pushing it now. Yeah, so right around the 21st last year is when they really sent that our way. Like, it was a mega heating event, a compression event of the troposphere. And just to show you, we could go back there and just so I can show you what happened in 2018, December around 21st. I know they really hit us right at Christmas, like they were going to give us a Christmas present. So let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, we're on December 2018, apply. So now I'll just go up a day at a time. Oh, I'm down on the jet stream. That's why we're not seeing it. We go back to the 21st. So you can see right here, this was back last year on the 20th. And it looks about like what they're doing right now, about the same area. The cold air mass is about the same size right over Europe. Now watch what happens as we go. Going up into Christmas. This is December 21st, December 22nd. Now, super bad heating event. Now you got to remember, it's wintertime up here. It's dark. There's no sunlight to create this rapid heating event. There was no solar activity to create this rapid heating event. This is done by compressing the ionosphere. So we go up to this is 23rd. We go up to the 24th. They're sending us a Christmas present of polar vortex cold air. Here we are on Christmas. Well, they cranked these things up too high. They turned it off because it started pushing it. Look, it flattened out the whole polar air mass. And so they turned it down a little bit. And look, it kind of pinches off the cold air. That's when we got a wave of super cold all the way down to the Bajas down there. But what happened is they pushed it too far. As we go here on the 1st of January, this cold air was, you know, out here over Iceland and Greenland and Ireland, the UK. So they were getting hit with this super cold Arctic air. So they're like, whoa, we sent it too far. Look at that cold air mass. It was all the way down into Florida. So what'd they do? They start heating it from the other side. Now just watch as we go forward here. Now we're on January 4th, January 5th. All of a sudden on January 6th, we got a little bit of cold over the United States, but it's all parked right over Europe. And this is the very same time that Austria got 7 feet of snow in one night. Collapsing roofs is the most snow they ever had, ever. So they started heating it up from the other side. Now watch them push this cold air mass. It all kind of connects back together. Then they turn it off. They like, we got to move where we want it. And this cold air mass parked over the United States for months. Like, it didn't move for a long time. It just stayed there. Stayed there, stayed there, stayed there like the rest of winter, man. So they can definitely shift these polar air masses around. And you can see right now, they're starting it right now. Right around Christmas time, they're going to push this cold air mass all the way over the United States. And then that's when we're going to start seeing the mega colds, the cold that feels colder than it should be. And it will be. So I guess while we're here, we'll go ahead and check these waves again. Look, they're still getting inundated with, you know, good sized waves, 32-foot waves, Ireland, UK, Portugal. We got some 28-footers over here off the Kamchatkas. We got 38-foot waves. See where these things are going, see if they're growing. Another wave weapon's going to form just below Greenland, 40-foot waves. So another wave storm is going to be hitting. This one's going to be more down towards Portugal. Now this only goes out a day or two, so it's not going to give us like a whole lot of information. All right, let's go ahead and check the sea surface temperatures. We'll just get this earth null out of the way. Big hot water zone. It's actually starting to grow there in North Australia. I think we got a couple of dust storms going on. And this don't even make sense, really. Right where the hurricane, the typhoon hit, how could the water be hot? You just had typhoons come through here. The water should be cold, but they're not. That's because they're heating over there. Let's look at the sea surface temperatures anomaly. We can see the blobs still up here. We got a new blob down here off the coast of New Zealand, right where the volcanoes are going off. The earthquakes. Overall, though, there's not a lot of heat anomalies out here. So it looks like the air quality over here in China is getting a little bit better. There's still a little bit of black. India, horrible. Still see all the fires going on in Australia. It's actually looking a little better today. Mass spraying operation down in Australia, which we're going to get into when we get back into the worldview map. So we got tons of carbon dioxide at the surface going, you know, right where they're seeding the sky, trapping it in. So I'd imagine the aerosols over here on the East Coast are doing the same thing. So bad air quality in Southern California, you're in the greens. Parts of California, you're in the greens with the carbon dioxide. You're getting rain. This should not be that high. The whole Ohio Valley is looking pretty bad right now. Here's our dust. Look, we still have dust being blown off the Sahara Desert. It's pretty strange for wintertime. That's blowing out still. Let's go ahead and check the PM 2.5. So it's getting a little better. We did have almost a solid line going all the way from Canada down through BC, all the way down to Southern California. I do want to go look over at New Zealand where the volcano went off. I just want to back it up a couple days here, and just see what's going on over here. Look at that. You can see the fires there in Australia too. Look at the, whoa, what'd I do here? You can see all the PM 2.5 is just getting really bad. All right, let's go ahead and finish on the worldview map here. All right, so we already went through California's getting waxed. Nevada, same thing. Arizona's getting hammered. Of course, the bunker fuel operations. Can't really see anything standing out over here. Like, we'll be able to see that with the other satellite feeds. Looks like you got a little bit going on in Wyoming. Yeah, when it's so cloud covered, I mean, sometimes you can see the shadows. Like right there, there's an aerosol being deployed, and then there's the shadow. But the big spraying operation, we just clicked the layers because I wanted to. So this spraying operation starts, you know, just right here off of Mexico. So you got quite a few grids all over down here. And the seeding operation goes all the way from Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, through Texas. Look at Mississippi. So mega horrible deployments all over Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, complete whiteouts, parts of Missouri, parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Michigan. The aerosols are going all the way up. In fact, they go all the way up to Nova Scotia. So the Gulf of Maine, you have aerosols from the Pacific Ocean all the way to the Atlantic Ocean in one stream. And they're laying some really thick liners up here off the coast of New Jersey, then right on over. So Pennsylvania is getting waxed. So it went from, not as bad to mass operations across the Midwest, up into the Northeast, out off the West Coast. And then again, let me show the bunker fuel operations again. These guys have a plan. They have a weather plan. That's why they're out here. That's why they're in formations. Yeah, Alabama's just pretty whited out. They're getting sprayed too. The whole area, that's part of the whole Ohio Valley, all this. Florida most likely is getting sprayed. I can't really. You can definitely see a few dumps. Once they spread out into the clouds, it's hard to see them. That's why we use the different satellites, because then we'll get a different view when we look at the ones in motion. And, yesterday the Mediterranean Sea was getting hammered. It still is. So it's turning into a complete whiteout over the Mediterranean Sea. France is completely covered now. The UK completely covered. Italy is completely covered. Aerosols being deployed in Algeria. Look, they stopped the one spraying operation that was going all the way across Africa. But they'll be starting a new one. Like, what is this thing right here? That looks like that's like a ground-based generator right there. It was click to layer. Yeah, it's pretty wild right there. How it comes from a point and then just flares out. Definitely some aerosols in there. I mean, they're not standing out like super bad, but man, that's just a weird looking deal right there. So it looks like we have, let me click this layer, get it to load. So you have aerosols being deployed over the Red Sea. Big X. Big X. So they're spraying over Saudi Arabia, and then a big spraying operation all the way into Dubai. This is where the big weather modification companies are. So this is really a big time worldwide, ramp up into the aerosols. So they flooded Israel out. We just talked about yesterday how they were getting aerosol. We can go back to yesterday, and then the article come out saying they were ramping up the cloud seeding. Do you see a difference between the cloud seeding right here that's going on, all this cloud seeding that's going on that's admitted to by the news? There's no difference in the way it looks compared to all the other aerosols that we're seeing across the planet. It's the same thing. They're just not dropping silver iodide rockets out here. They're spraying out of the backs of the planes and ramping up the moisture worldwide. So we'll go back on to today. These are not normal clouds right here. This is still the aerosols going over Saudi Arabia. You know, I noticed Mongolia lately hasn't been getting as hammered as much as they normally do. So I don't know what's going on up there. You see them over North Korea, South Korea, man, it don't matter. They get aerosol just like everybody else. And then we get down here to Australia. Right in the fire zone. They're deploying more aerosols. It looks like they're using a little bit of a different mix down here. It's a little bit of a different color. You got a mass spraying operation south of Melbourne. Like, this is all completely man-made synthetic. Let's check the layers. All man-made clouds, man. You can just see by the colors, you can see the aircraft lines. And just depending on when the satellite comes by and takes the photo, you know, whether you catch the blatant, you know, lines like this one. So that one's going right up towards Melbourne. Looks like you got a few aerosols here west of Tasmania. More aerosols up here. You know, they do a lot of bunker fuel operations here off the coast of Australia too. Let me just see if we can pick any up. At least I'm not seeing any blatant ones out here. What I am seeing, though, is like another dust storm. We got another dust storm on the northwest side of Australia. And look, we got more microwave clouds. See, there's an ionospheric heater right here. It's off one of these little peninsulas. That's why we're always seeing the microwave clouds over here. They're screwing with the ionosphere, creating the weird cloud formations. They're not gravity wave clouds. So aerosols over Western Australia, and they go all the way down, all the way to South Australia. And then you got the fire zones. So it kind of looks like the fires are down a little bit right now, but you know, who knows, man? They want to, it seems like they want to burn up Sydney. Look, you got some aerosols, tons of aerosols out here off the coast, flying in formations. You know, it's got to be the UN and the military and aerosols in the Tasmanian Sea. It looks like the Christchurch area is getting a break today. Look, here comes some more of that, the algae or whatever this stuff is. Last week, man, there was a big swath of this stuff come in, and it turned into like a vortex. In fact, there's still a circle right there, but you could actually see it spinning as it was coming towards the coast. Right around the same time, and then just a day or two later after it vanished is when the volcano went off. Tons more microwaves down here. They're trying to pull the atmospheric river up. Like, they really want you to believe these are gravity wave clouds. But then you got the aerosols mixed in with it. All right, so let's kind of look up here. Yeah, like, so this was yesterday. No bunker fuel operations anywhere. There was no bunker fuel operations out here off the coast of California. Nowhere. So one day makes this big a difference. These guys have switches just like a chemtrail switch. I mean, these are so blatant right here. You know, cloud experiments going on off the coast of California and Bajas. Here we are, we can see it on the RAM slider in motion if it'll start playing. We'll see if it'll play. It might take it a second to load here. I can back out a little bit. You know, everything that the mainstream talks about is all lies, man. It's all fabricated to push their agenda, and they're going to push everything into a civil war, man. Nobody believes. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that do believe what's going on with the politics, but that's all just theater, man. It's all like a soap opera, and it's made to divide you, get you pissed off. And if their plan don't work, they will start a civil war, if not a regular war with some other country. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to load up for us. Man, that sticks out like a sore thumb, man. We could actually probably count how many ships are out here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So we have double the amount of ships out here to produce, you know, more toxic emissions than all the cars on the planet times 2. So you have all the emissions on the planet from cars, 2 years worth, being deployed right now off the coast of California. And let's go ahead. Let's jump over this look. Let's get over the Ghost 16. We're going to put this on the Cirrus layer. I call it the chemtrail layer. And we'll zoom in on some of these mass spraying operations, just so we got them documented. If it'll load for us here, I'll put an enhancement on this so we can see it better. Yeah, I keep yawning. Here, we'll just go jump in there on Southern California. We know they're getting waxed. Let's see what it looks like from the air. We just looked at the bunker fuel, so now we'll look at it from the high altitude. Yeah, so they're seeding all the way out over that system and then all the way over. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm zoomed out pretty good. We go ahead and go over here to the Texas and Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi. See what it shows up like over here. So you can see the heaviest was right there on the borders of Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, going into Texas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, like everybody. This is like, how many planes does it take to make that many lines in the sky? It's thousands. It's actually going on all the way down in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's go take a look up a little farther, up into the north. We'll look up in Canada just to see if we can pick them up. You're definitely getting aerosols up there in Toronto, Quebec area. So yeah, massive spraying all the way up into the north. Just for the heck of it, let's go way up here into BC, Alberta area, to see if we pick anything up over here. Look, they're seeding way up there. It's just barely coming in the screen. Also right over Alberta. Yeah, so all this is aerosols right here. So you got a few normal clouds and then aerosols. They look completely different. You can't hide it. Look at this big liner right there. And we'll check the central part. There's a standalone spraying operation. Yep, everybody up in Canada is getting hit. Just like the United States, just like France, just like Australia, just like Mexico, just like South America. Look at these huge fat liners over there. Just like Europe, just like the desert. Everybody's getting hit. There's nowhere to hide from this stuff, man. They're getting us from all directions. Yeah, it's like, man, how do you get people to quit looking at their phones, man? Like, you just got to keep, say, look up, man. What's going on up in the sky? Something isn't right. We just had a blue sky. A whole fleet of airplanes come by, and now our sky's gone. Does that seem normal to you people? Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a show. And we'll play a song called Rise. I'll come join you in chat. I'll come give out the treasure chest over on D Live and all that stuff. So here we go. Turn it up. Play a song called Rise. Maybe, maybe not.